Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Doctor. So we are from Group D and we are working on the daily expense tracking app as a part of our project from PPL3. And our project focuses on creating a user-friendly apps that helps individuals track their expenses and also manage their budgets. Before I go to the introduction, let me introduce our group member first. So first of all, we have me. I'm Nurzuri Karinti Mamarimi with number matrix 291312. And then we have Siti Alia Bakis binti Abdul Rahmat with number matrix 291345. And also Muhammad Ifan bin Latif 291294. And lastly, we have Muhammad Umanul Hakim bin Rusli with number matrix 294854. The daily expense tracking app simplifies personal finance by automatically tracking expenses, also categorizing spending, and also helping users to stick with their budgets. So it encourages a healthy financial habit through easy to use features like real-time notification and also detailed spending insights. So in our use case, we have chosen three key components that are crucial for the app's functionality. First of all is expense info and categorization. Next is budget tracking and alert. And lastly is the expense summary.
So the three essential functionalities designed to enhance financial tracking is first our expense input and categorization feature allows you to manually input the expenses, specifying the amount, category, and the date of each transaction. Next, the budget tracking and alerts function helps you to set and monitor expense limit. It provides real-time tracking of spending categories and alerts you if you are about to overspend. Finally, our expense summary feature offers categories and powerful visual data representation like graph that illustrate spending habits and trend, and finally to enable you to make informed financial decisions. For the component that derive from these key use cases, the input expense component is the gateway for data entry, featuring user-friendly input interfaces and robust data validation to ensure accuracy. And the set budget component is vital for managing your finances within set parameters and allows for creation and adjustment of budgets. And then the view summary component processes this data to generate insightful visualization such as charts and graph, and this not only help you to see your spending patterns but also aids in effectively plan your financial and see the full analysis of your financial tracking.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Luman Hakim and I want to demo our application for expense tracker. So first thing first, we need to set budget for our application, and then there are many categories that we can choose. Let's say we want to set budget for food for 100 ringgit, and then okay. So it will display the message budget set successfully. So then I and then I will display that at the left is a original component for set budget that we found at GitHub, and at the right will be the adapted code that we have to do for our application. Then for the input component, we need to go to add expense, and then there are date, category, amount, description. So that we need to input it correctly, or it will display an error message. Then it will put at this list and display this message. Okay. Then I will put a picture of original component that we find at GitHub, and at the right will be adapted code that we use for to do GUI, graphic user interface. Then for the component is a pie chart. So if you want to know how pie chart will look, we need to have a different category that we use. And as you can see, I did not yet set budget for transport. So if I input the expense and the set budget originally is 0, so I only edit at the foot. So if we input this, and it will display this alert. Spending transport exceed the budget by 10 ringgit because the set budget that we have for transport is 0 ringgit. As you can see, at the budget is the set budget, and this the spend that we have used. Okay, then let me put another category for display pie chart. Okay, so to display pie chart, click this button. As you can see, if there are no pie chart, but if want to see it, we need to move our cursor to the pie chart. This is based on how the original component that we find at GitHub and try to adapt it. And I will show at the left is the original component from GitHub, and the right is adapted. But the problem is they only display one color. So there are problems here to adapt, and that's it. So for the other button is calculate total. We calculate our total expense. Then reset all button. It will delete all the list of expenses, and the set budget limit also. It will reset. So I think that's all from me.
In this making app creation, we have chosen two development approach. First of all is the component-based development, CBD, and also X model. Now I will talk about why we combine CBD and X model together. So first of all is CBD is focused on modular development using reusable components. This means we create pre-built tested modules that can save both time and also cost. So with CBD, we already gained several key benefits, which are reusability, where components are already built and tested, so we can save the development time. Next one is CBD also is flexibility, where we can easily update the individual components without affecting the entire system. And lastly is the error reductions, since the modules are per-tested, so it helps to ensure the reliability. So the next one is the S model development. So the S model is an interactive, feedback-driven development process. So it emphasizes step-by-step testing and also improvement to create high quality and also reliable app. And so the key benefits that we get from S model is include with, first of all is the interactive cycles. The apps improve regularly through constant feedback. Next one is early error detection. So where components are tested individually to identify the fixed issues early and also improve reliability as well, where it continues testing and ensures the app performance remains strong. So the reason behind why we choose is because the speed, first of all, where by using this CPD and also S model, we it can speed up the development process. And next one is the quality, where continuous testing in the S model ensure the reliability and also reduce the error. And lastly, it is scalability, where CPD modular structure make it easy to scale and also adapt as the app grow later on.
Next, I'll be presenting about the CBD. What is CBD? CBD is component-based development that we use in our project. CBD leverage pre-built modular component to speed up the development processes and reduce the cost. In this project, we utilize that pre-built models for expenses unit, budget tracking, and also pie chart visualization. Source from the source like expenses tracker application Java and expenses manager. This component will evaluate and tailor to fit the application architecture and also ensuring the seamless integration. The flexibility of CBD allow us to update or replace individual components such as expenses input or budget tracking without impacting the entire system. By reusing the existing component, we significantly minimize the develop time and also cost, and able for us to focus on enhancing the functionality. The modular design ensure that clean interface and easier to maintain with the component like expenses.java, expenses service.java, and pie chart panel.java encapsulate for long-term scalability. Next is X model. The X model branch that we use is developed after modification. In the component testing phase, we focus on verifying that each component function properly both in the isolate and with the large system. The expenses input component ensure the accurate data entry by validating the format and handling invalid categories, while integration and performance tests ensure its responsive and also smooth interaction with other system elements. The budget tracking component is the test to confirm that budget alert function calculate the spending correctly and triggers appropriate alerts with performance testing, ensuring optimal functionality even heavy usage. The expenses summary component is true to test for functionality, ensure that pie chart accurate the represent the category percentage. And also, moving forward to evaluation and adaptability, the expenses input component can easily adapt by replacing the free text input with dynamic updates and adding new fields without major code change. For the budget tracking and expenses summary component, modular designed to ensure that seamless updates like predictive spending tools or new features allowing to the system for future improvement. Lastly, for the X model, in the selection of component, we focus on choosing the most suitable option based on the both functionality and non-functional requirement. For expenses input component, swing component like JText field and JCombo box were chosen for their easy of use and compatibility with object-oriented design and cross-platform support. The budget tracking component was enhanced with a category budget manager for tracking and meeting the needs of the dynamic thresholds and multi-channel notification. Lastly, the expenses summary component utilized the pie chart format with the pie chart panel class designed for extensibility and compatibility with future updates and real-time source.
So the experience that I can share throughout this PPL3 learning process is first of all what I learned. So I learned that CPD or component-based development helps to speed up the development by using ready-made components and also making the system flexible. And the next one is the X model can ensure that the apps that we create are reliable by following an interactive approach with feedback and also testing. And I believe by combining both models help us develop the app faster and also with more reliability. So the next one is the challenge that I faced. First of all, it was hard to understand the differences between CBD and also S model at first, and also I struggled to see how both models work together in real world development scenarios, and also applying theoretical concept to practical tasks was confusing at times. So how I overcome these challenges is by making a research both models in depth and also had a discussion with my team members to improve my understanding. And next is I try to look at the real world examples And lastly is I use the diagrams to help me visualize how the component fit together and how the model interacts together. That is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for my experience on using CBD method or S model methods, it's have good and bad experience for me. So for good thing, I learn how to adapt the component, but sometimes it's hard to adapt it or integrate it. Then I think it's indeed a little bit faster to doing CBD instead of doing from scratch or doing from without find component. Doing your component itself is a little bit faster, but yeah. So for my bad experience, uh, it's very hard to find the component you want, and if you find it, you need to think: is this component easy to adapt or is it compatible for my project or for my application? Next is the problem to when you have find the component, you need to adapt or you need to think how to adapt it or integrate it with the code, with our code or our project. So the conclusion is, I think CBD is good method, but not for everyone. That's all.
For my reflection, what I learned is CBD use pre-built components to speed up development and improve adaptability. When combined with the X model, known for its rigorous testing and feedback, the result is more faster and more reliable in the development process. However, for the challenges that I face, understanding and merging the structured approach of X model with CBD's flexibility was initially confusing, and it was also challenging to apply these theoretical models practically and to visualize their synergy in real world scenarios. And then finally is however I overcome the challenges is by conducting through research and discussing extensively with my friends, which deepen our collective understanding. We also review case studies and engage in practical practices using diagrams, which heavily clarify how these models work together effectively. And in summary, merging CBD and X model has significantly enhanced our development practices, making our processes more efficient and robust. Uh,
From this project, I gained hands-on experience in designing modular components like expenses input, budget tracking, and also expenses summary, focusing on how low coupling and also high cohesion for better scalability. However, I faced a challenge in understanding each component role and combining the X model with the component-based development. To overcome this, I refer to the technical documentation and case study to gaps the uh, iterative refinement of the X model and also modular design principle of the CBD. I also broke down each modular into the smaller part and used flowchart to visualize their interaction and dependency, which helped me to achieve the clarity. The systematic approach allowed me to refine the component and also integrate them seamlessly.